Next, please enjoy the plot analysis of episode 87 of Immortal Inverse. Liu Mei looked at Wang Lin calmly, smiled slightly, and said, "Brother Aoki has recovered most of his cultivation base, which is gratifying." Wang Lin stared at Liu Mei coldly and asked, "Liu Mei, what is your purpose?" "It's okay to just say it. You don't have to be so contrived to ruin my impression of you in the past." Liu Mei looked at Wang Lin, sighed softly, and said, "Wang Lin, you have already suffered a catastrophe but you don't know it. Let's go and leave Suzaku Star. You know that I am from the Suzaku Kingdom, but you don't know that my master is not an ordinary person. He is the first person of Suzaku Star, Suzaku Z." Wang Lin's eyes flashed, and he suddenly said, "After the battle between Hongdi and me, how is it now?" A trace of appreciation flashed in Liu Mei's eyes. She looked at Wang Lin and said softly, "The red butterfly has become my brother's furnace." Wang Lin took a breath and said solemnly, "It seems that the battle between me and the red butterfly is just a battle in your eyes." Liu Mei pursed her lower lip and said softly, "Brother Wang, let's go, the sooner the better." As she said, she glanced at Wang Lin deeply, sighed softly, and turned to leave. Wang Lin looked at Liu Mei's back, frowning. What Liu Mei said seemed to point out the problem, but in fact it left countless suspense. Wang Lin couldn't figure it out that he glanced at Su Yun and Liu Wei's two daughters not far away, flicked his sleeves, and rolled them out of the cave 100 feet away, but the moment he rolled up the second daughter, Wang Lin suddenly felt a shock in his heart that he took a closer look, and the expressions of the two women in the coma were different. Su Yun's previous performance had always been relatively firm, and when she spoke, she was also before the other woman, revealing a sense of strength, but at this moment she was in a coma, but her face showed a trace of weakness and helplessness. On the other hand, the other woman, Wang Lin had always felt soft and weak before, but now in her expression, there is a fierce and firm color emerging, obviously the kind of person who is soft on the outside and rigid on the inside. Wang Lin's eyes lit up suddenly, and he stared up at Liu Mei's distant direction, with a sneer at the corner of his mouth. "I understand why every time I see Liu Mei, I have that strange feeling. It is precisely because everything Liu Mei shows seems gentle, like a gesture of friendship, but in fact it is to cover the true ruthlessness deep in my heart." Wang Lin flicked his sleeves, turned around and walked into the cave, flicked his body, and disappeared in place. In the depths of the underground spiritual veins of Soul Refining Peak, Wang Lin's figure appeared here. The place where he is located is the bottom of the spirit vein of the Refining Soul Peak. 300 feet to his left is where the Golden Soul Flag is located. At this distance, the unicorn-like monster Lord Soul and the Soul Streamer could not be affected. Sitting cross-legged here, Wang Lin could feel the spiritual pressure around him slowly condensing. This time, he did not vomit spiritual power, but concentrated on squeezing the primordial spirit through the spirit, so that the primordial spirit could be gathered as soon as possible. On this day, Wang Lin suddenly opened his eyes abruptly, with a hint of agility in his eyes. Although his vitality has not fully recovered, it has improved a lot compared to a few months ago. At this moment, there are only 2 seals left on his face. Wang Lin's consciousness swept away and landed on the place where the Golden Soul Streamer was located 300 feet away. I saw a phantom suddenly appeared outside the Soul Streamer, and a roar came out of the black mist, and the unicorn-like monster immediately rolled out, with huge fierce eyes exuding bursts of bloodthirsty light. In the roar, the phantom immediately stepped back and quickly condensed. With a sweep of Wang Lin's divine consciousness, he recognized that this person was the great elder of Soul Refining Peak. After seeing the old man, the unicorn monster did not take the initiative to attack as he had seen Wang Lin. While his eyes were fierce, there was a faint flicker of ridicule. The old man's gaze sharpened, and he shouted, "Evil beast, the ancestor had an order back then, and the 3-pole Soul Streamer suppressed under the 3 seals, where the virtuous live. Sooner or later you will be in the hands of the old man." Black gas spewed out of the monster's nose, and the contempt in his eyes became stronger. The old man patted the storage bag, and a pale golden Soul Streamer immediately appeared in his hand. With a shake of his hand, an endless soul immediately emerged. Among these souls, there is a main soul in the late Yuanying stage. After the main soul, there are dozens of attached souls in the early Yuanying stage, And behind them are densely packed with attached souls with varying cultivation levels, the old man shouted, 10,000 souls eat. The soul streamer in his hand pointed forward, and all the souls around him let out shrill whistles, rushing towards the monster. As soon as the monster raised his eyelids and moved his body, lightning rushed into his soul, opened his mouth wide, and swallowed frantically. There was no surprise on the old man's face, but a hint of determination. Based on his cultivation, he could not fight this monster, but he possessed 10,000 soul streamers, so he could barely fight. In a short space of time, the old man pinched his hands and changed rapidly. His hands were immediately blood-red, and drops of blood were forced out of his hands, and gradually a fist-sized snowball appeared in front of him. The snowball immediately collapsed, turned into a little snow, and covered the monster's body within 100 feet of it. The souls that were swallowed by him, one by one, turned frantically as if they had eaten a big tonic pill, trying to rush out of the monster's body. There are also a large number of souls in the outside world who are constantly attacking under the influence of the main soul, and even those souls in the Yuanying period can actually release spells from each other. In this way, the monster was trapped inside and outside, and roared again and again, but in his eyes, there was still a strong mockery. Suddenly, the monster roared violently, and a black aura flew out again on the golden soul streamer under him. The black aura changed instantly, and another monster was formed. The two monsters look exactly the same. The old man looked ugly. The last time he fought with this soul streamer was after the second monster appeared. He was defeated and retreated. He patted the storage bag again, and the black light flickered in his hand, turning into a huge streamer bell. As soon as the bell shook, bursts of clanging sounds came out. As soon as these sound waves appeared, they immediately turned into illusory monsters with single horns but human forms, roaring towards the unicorn. Both unicorn monsters were trapped and roared again and again. The old man showed a hint of joy, and tried his best to control the magic treasure in his hand, but at this moment, another black aura emerged from the golden soul streamer, and a third unicorn appeared. The old man roared unwillingly. This time he made the most progress and forced out the third monster, but today was also his most helpless day. Before he analyzed how many main souls were in this golden soul streamer, he originally thought it was one, but when he entangled the monster with the soul streamer many years ago and had not yet decided the outcome, another one appeared. The second time he came, he was also defeated by the second monster. For the third time, he made a big determination to exchange for Hanliang, but he bitterly discovered that there was a third head. In this way, he couldn't help but think that maybe after the third head, there would be a fourth, fifth, and sixth head. The old man sighed secretly, and was about to give up, when suddenly a huge divine consciousness suddenly descended from all around. The old man trembled and immediately said, "The disciple has no way to rise, see the ancestor." As the divine consciousness swept across, the third monster immediately snorted miserably, entangled in black air, roaring to break free. Ha! A cold snort came from nothingness, and then a big hand immediately took shape and grabbed the golden soul streamer. This time, the golden soul streamer was windless and automatic, and 3 consecutive unicorn monsters immediately transformed out of it, roaring towards the palm of the hand. With a slap of the huge palm of his hand, under a dozen, a unicorn suddenly dissipated with a scream, turning into countless souls, rushing to the surrounding area in panic. The other 2 Kirin immediately pounced on them, entangled with their palms. The cold snort in the divine consciousness came again. This time, countless black auras roared from all directions. These black auras condensed together to form a long black spear, flashing bursts of black electric light, stabbing towards the unicorn. Inside the golden soul streamer, suddenly there was a roar bigger than all the Kirin, and a golden aura emerged. The moment this golden aura appeared, all the unicorn monsters immediately trembled, collapsed with a bang, turned into countless souls, and merged towards the golden aura. Wu Xian snorted miserably. His soul streamers and magic weapons were entangled with the unicorn monster, and at this moment the opponent collapsed, bringing a huge anti-shock force, which immediately caused him to be seriously injured. He was about to retreat in horror, when a phantom appeared in front of him, and under one finger, Wu Xian immediately tilted his body and passed out. As soon as Wang Lin grabbed it, Wu Dao's soul streamers and purple-wood streamers fell into his hands. His eyes flashed, staring at the constantly condensed golden aura, it turns out that this is the main soul of this soul streamer, and the monsters before are just possessed souls. After the golden breath absorbed all the souls, a roar that shook the entire soul-refining peak roared out of it, and instantly a huge unicorn beast that exuded golden light all over its body, like an entity, without any illusory sense of soul appeared opposite Wang Lin. The appearance of this unicorn beast is almost exactly the same as that of Lin Tianho, except for the different color, but in terms of breath, it is far less powerful than that of the sword-worshipping Ling Tianho. Wang Lin stared at the beast, grabbed his right hand through the air, and black air flew from all directions, forming a black spear in his hand. The golden unicorn roared, and a huge golden light mass appeared in front of it, and in a flash, it smashed towards Wang Lin. Wang Lin shook his spear in his hand, stabbed it with a single shot, and there was a loud bang, and the surrounding spiritual veins cracked in bursts. Wang Lin took 2 steps back, and the group of light turned into a little golden light and dissipated. As soon as Wang Lin patted the storage bag, 2 bells suddenly appeared. As soon as he threw them down, the bells immediately shrouded the unicorn. The unicorn leaped forward, raised its front hooves high, stepped on the ground violently, and with a bang, the surrounding spiritual veins immediately collapsed, and a vigorous bombardment came, causing the 2 bells to tremble lightly, and the momentum slowed down. Wang Lin hummed softly, his body moved, the spear in his hand shook, and he stabbed forward fiercely. In the rumble, the spear turned into a black light, and in a flash, it penetrated through the body of the unicorn beast. The beast roared, and the penetrating parts exuded bursts of black air, turning into souls. Wang Lin patted the storage bag, and suddenly the soul streamer was in his hand. With a wave, those souls immediately flew towards the soul streamer. The unicorn beast roared, and the souls that flew out were sucked by it and returned to the body. Wang Lin's eyes flickered, and with a wave of his right hand in front of him, Soul Xian appeared, and began a battle with the unicorn beast to snatch the soul. At such a moment, the 2 bells immediately became bigger and shrouded in an instant. During the roar of the unicorn beast, black mist spewed out between his noses, turned into 2 slightly smaller unicorn beasts, and rushed towards the bell. Wang Lin pinched the tactics with his right hand, and one by one prohibitions roared out, and they all rushed towards the 2 beasts secretly, sealing them in. Looking at the soul floating out of the body of the unicorn beast before, Wang Lin snorted softly and shouted, "Evil beast, if you have the ability of your ancestors, Wang will naturally lose, but now you are just an illusory body condensed from a remnant soul, dare to make a show here." Wang Lin's hands quickly changed, and the prohibitions immediately broke away and fell around the unicorn beast. The unicorn beast struggled suddenly in the roar, and in a click, the restraint collapsed, but Wang Lin's hands never stopped, and one by one the restraint frantically ventured out, constantly falling on the unicorn. Gradually, Wang Lin was sweating profusely on his forehead, and countless restraints were all beaten out by him in just a few breaths. The body of the unicorn beast seemed to sink into the water, and it became slow. Wang Lin's eyes flashed, his right hand touched, and the storage bag flew out. With a flick, a black spear suddenly appeared in front of Wang Lin. Under one finger, these black spears instantly rushed towards the golden unicorn. At the same time, Wang Lin quickly pinched his right hand and made a series of soul spins. His figure was like electricity, and one soul after another appeared one after another as he walked. Kailan's eyes showed a trace of anger, and his body shook. More than 10 golden light clusters appeared around him. They dissipated at the same time with several loud bangs, but there were still some long spears pierced into the body of the Kailan beast. Suddenly, a large number of souls dissipated, and they were immediately absorbed frantically by the Soul Xian arranged by Wang Lin. During the roar of the unicorn beast, he immediately struggled violently, and his body was shattered one by one. Wang Lin frowned. This remnant soul is almost the same as the great fullness in the late stage of transformation. It only needs to be nourished for many years to reach the strength of the infant transformation period. Wang Lin's eyes were gloomy, his right hand was raised forward, and with a bang, he turned into a god. As soon as the soul beast on the chariot saw the remnant soul of the unicorn, his spirit was suddenly refreshed, and his eyes showed monstrous greed. As soon as the remnant soul of the unicorn saw the soul beast, he suddenly roared, as if he had encountered a natural enemy. His eyes showed war intent. Wang Lin let out a soft cry, and the soul beast on the chariot roared out, rushing towards the remnant soul of the unicorn with countless black iron chains. The remnant soul of the unicorn roared, and countless golden light clusters appeared again around him, suddenly blocking in front of him to prevent the impact of the soul beast. The soul beast roared and hit, with a bang, all the light clusters shattered. The body of the soul beast and the remnant soul of the unicorn slammed together, and the two beasts snorted at the same time. The impact of the soul beast was too fierce, and the iron chain on his body was pulled straight. As soon as he pulled it, he suddenly suffered pain and had to retreat. That it turned around abruptly and bit towards the iron chain with a big mouth, but it was never able to break the iron chain. In anger, the beast immediately roared at Wang Lin. The remnant soul of the unicorn was lost to the soul beast, and the restraint on his body collapsed under the impact, and his body was thrown out from a distance, exuding a lot of soul. As soon as these souls appeared, they were immediately absorbed frantically by the surrounding soul mysteries, and they were absorbed cleanly in a blink of an eye. The figure of the golden unicorn is no longer as solid as before, but becomes illusory. He stared at the soul beast, showing unwillingness in his eyes, roaring but not daring to step forward. The unicorn beast was knocked into the air, and the golden soul streamer was exposed where he had been before. Wang Lin didn't hesitate, flashed out, appeared next to the golden soul streamer, and was about to grab the soul streamer, when the golden unicorn suddenly rushed in. Wang Lin sneered, his right hand was a little bit in the air, and fell on the chariot. The iron chains of the two soul beasts on the chariot immediately dissipated. The soul beasts roared excitedly, their bodies were as fast as lightning, and they rushed out immediately, opening their mouths to swallow the remnant soul of the unicorn. The remnant soul of the unicorn turned around and fled, and the two beasts began to chase and fight around. Wang Lin grabbed the golden soul streamer, and the moment his hand touched the soul streamer, a cold meaning spread into his body, walked several times, and gradually subsided. Wang Lin's eyes showed joy, he opened his mouth and spurted out a mouthful of spiritual blood, which fell on the golden soul streamer, and was quickly absorbed by this streamer. Wang Lin yelled, raised his hand and pulled the golden soul streamer from the ground, and suddenly a black aura with the thickness of his arm roared out from where the golden soul streamer had been inserted before, directly penetrating the entire soul refining peak. At this moment, the disciples on the entire soul refining peak raised their heads one after another, staring blankly at the black air at the top of the mountain. They had heard bursts of roar before, coming from inside the mountain peak, but the power contained in this roar was so heavy that they did not dare to explore it. Deep in the peak of the soul refining sect, the 9 huge golden rings trembled suddenly, and a person appeared on the 8th golden ring. This person had a gloomy face, staring at the black light, his body moved, and he was about to see what was going on. Suddenly, he paused, showing a listening look, then turned around, facing the 2 faint blood rings behind the 9 golden rings, bent over and said respectfully, "Follow the will of the ancestor." After speaking, he returned to the golden ring again and disappeared without a trace. Wang Lin held the golden forbidden streamer, shook it, and shouted in his mouth, "The soul of the unicorn lord is closed." In an instant, the golden unicorn, who was forced by the soul beast to retreat again and again, and was almost swallowed many times, roared, turned into a golden light, flew into the soul sail in a blink of an eye, and disappeared without a shadow. Wang Lin felt the soul sail in his hand for a while, and was surprised in his heart, and immediately put the sail away. This time, the soul beast was already furious, and his hatred for Wang Lin was already extremely deep. Seeing this person at this moment, he actually snatched away the big tonic that he was about to get, and immediately turned around and swallowed it with a roar. Wang Lin's eyes showed disdain, and he pinched his right hand. Under a little bit, iron chains flickered out of the chariot, tying the soul beast that and the repeated roars and roars of this beast, he was dragged back little by little and turned into an exorcism circle again. After doing this, he flashed his body and appeared on the peak of soul refining. This moment, the black air at the top of the mountain was thick, and Wang Lin looked up at the black air, his eyes flashed, showing a contemplative look. The noise just now will definitely arouse the attention of the monks above the soul refining sect, but now no one is here, which is interesting. Wang Lin stared at the 9 golden rings, especially the 2 blood rings behind him, and glanced a few more times. This moment, although his cultivation base has not been fully restored, he is not afraid. Even if the infant monk comes here, he can tear the cracks and leave with a compass of his heart. Vaguely, he saw vicissitudes of gaze, revealing a trace of kindness, and disappeared in a flash in the blood ring. Wang Lin was about to restore the primordial spirit first, and with a movement of his body, he flew towards the wind. As his figure leaped, a wonderful woman stood in a corner of the soul-refining peak, looking at Wang Lin intently. She sighed softly and said to herself, "The recovery is so fast. If you want to have my figure in his Tao heart, you must first know what his Tao heart is, but during these days of contact, I have never been able to see through his heart. Brother Wang, what is your Taoist heart?" Wang Lin fell on the wind and found a cave. The cave mansion is Su Jinshi, the deepest disciple except for the great elder. As soon as Wang Lin's figure appeared, Su Jin, who was cross-legged and vomiting, suddenly opened his eyes, with an ugly look on his face. Wang Lin stood in Su Jin's cave mansion, glanced at this person, and said plainly, "Have you ever broken Yujian?" Su Jin was silent for a long time, nodded, gritted his teeth and said, "I can give you the broken jade sword, but I have a soul-refining streamer, and I still lack more than 300 souls, so I can become 1,000 soul streamer. You take out 300 souls, and I will show you." Wang Lin glanced at Su Jin's family, and in his capacity, he disdained to snatch it directly. With a slap of the storage bag with his right hand, the ordinary 1,000 soul streamer was in his hand, and there were more than 2,000 souls on this soul streamer. At this moment, with a shake of his hand, 300 flew out. As soon as Wang Lin grabbed his left hand, the 300 souls were immediately rubbed into a fist-sized black bead and thrown to Su Jin's family. Su Jin immediately took out a fuchsia jade chain from the storage bag and handed it to Wang Lin. Wang Lin's divine consciousness swept through it, and sure enough, it recorded a series of methods on how to extract the living soul while keeping it from dissipating, and finally the technique of refining the streamers with the living soul. The technique of soul drawing also has 3 supernatural powers, namely, tranquilizing, soul-inducing, and 4 strands. Concentration is the foundation of soul drawing. If there is no concentration, the success rate of forcible soul drawing is not high. Only after the technique of concentration is performed, the success rate will increase greatly. Soul-inducing is the method of extracting the living soul from the body of a living person. As for the final 4 most vicious, it is the most powerful of all the spells of breaking wind, and it is on par with the bloodstain of soul-refining seal. These 4 strands use strange techniques to turn the living soul into a goo-like existence, thereby killing people invisible, and even over time, with continuous refining, it will eventually form a bone-soul beast. A bone-soul beast is equivalent to the strength of the pill stage. It's just that these 4-strand techniques are not surprising, but countless years ago, a disciple was awarded a master's degree by breaking the seal. It was after using these 4-strand techniques to transform his face, he ran rampant in the 4-level cultivation country, and finally established his own sect, known as the Danma Dao. This person did not know how to refine the bone-soul beast into a pill, and incorporated the green aura of the dead body to increase its power, and finally formed the green pill, which is called the Great Method of Green Pill, and successfully cultivated this method to the realm of gods. He can be described as a genius of Tianzong. Wolfdan is different from Jindan, there can only be one Jindan, and there is no limit to the number of Wolfdan. This person, with this kind of spell that has been transformed into the 4 ancient supernatural powers, has refined more than hundreds of thousands of green pills in his life. With one shot, countless green pills explode themselves. The power is infinite. Even the infant monster has a headache for this person. Under normal circumstances, he will not trouble him. The soul-refining sect has never pursued the law of judgment against this person. This matter puzzled many people back then. In the end, with the disappearance of this person gradually disappeared in the long history. The final recovery of the primordial god depends on today. Today I am going to challenge the soul-refining sect's infant aging monster. Only under the coercion of the infant aging monster can my primordial god finally recover in the squeeze. At that time, I used the star compass to escape the infant and become an old monster, and I couldn't catch up if I wanted to. Wang Lin took a deep breath, his eyes showing a hint of war, his body turned into a changhong and headed towards the 9 rings of light in the distance. At the same time, he held 100,000 golden soul streamers in his left hand and 999 sets of forbidden streamers in his right hand. During 2 waves, Wang Lin's figure came outside the 9 golden rings in the blink of an eye. As soon as his body approached, Wang Lin turned his hands twice, danced in front of him, and the golden unicorn roared out of his left hand. Behind him, 9 black unicorn monsters followed by countless black wind-like souls. The entire soul-refining sect is surrounded by 8 deserts, all of which are filled with souls. The golden unicorn roared and rushed towards the 9 golden rings. Boom boom boom, the 9 golden rings immediately flashed and turned into 9 men and women of different ages. These 9 people were the 9 great god-transforming monks in the soul-refining sect. After they appeared, they stared at the golden unicorn with a trace of shock in their eyes. The golden unicorn took 2 steps back, and with a shake of its huge head, it spewed out 2 black auras and spread out all around. As soon as Wang Lin's body was delivered, he stood on the top of the golden unicorn. The beast hesitated a little, did not shake his head, but showed fierce flashes in his eyes, staring at the 9 people. So courageous. A middle-aged woman among the 9, in the early stage of cultivating into a god, moved forward and was about to make a move. Wang Lin glanced at him and shouted, "Get out." The woman in the early stage of the transformation of the god stepped back a few steps, her face pale and horrified. Wang Lin stood on the top of the golden unicorn, his eyes calm, and said slowly, "Second-class 9 people, give way." An old man in a green robe among the 9 narrowed his eyes and snorted coldly, "Arrogant." A little forward with his right hand, a flash of light suddenly appeared in the air, transformed into an iron chain, and suddenly came frantically towards Wang Lin. With a wave of Wang Lin's right hand, countless energy burst out, and a black spear with the thickness of his arm took shape. At Wang Lin's point, the gun immediately rushed out and pierced the iron chain with a bang. The iron chain shattered every inch, and the spear castrated slowly and pierced the old man. At the same time, Wang Lin's left-hand soul streamer moved, the golden unicorn roared under his feet, and the 100,000 souls of the surrounding 8 deserts roared and impacted. At this moment, an old voice came from the blood ring, "Little friend, the old man has been waiting for you for a long time." As he spoke, a figure wearing a long blue robe with waist-length hair appeared from the blood ring, and came to the mirror in one step. This person has a grey complexion and looks extremely old, but his eyes are as bright as Hauyued. He glanced at Wang Lin carefully, and waved his right hand behind him. "9 of you, stand down." Wang Lin's eyes flashed, and there was a hint of war in his eyes. Although he couldn't see through the old man's cultivation base, he could be completely sure that it was definitely a period of infancy. The old man looked at Wang Lin with a strange light in his eyes. "Zheng Xiaoyu, the old man has been waiting for this day for 2 years. Today you and I will meet. I will give Xiaoyu a thin gift first, and then we will talk about it in detail. It's not too late." The old man glanced at Wang Lin deeply, then suddenly raised his right hand and pointed to the spirit-refining wind. His tone changed from the gentleness when talking to Wang Lin, but became fierce, with a monstrous murderous intent and cold light, and slowly said, "Junior Liu Mei, within 10 breaths, get out of the soul-refining sect within 10,000 miles, otherwise even if you are a disciple of Suzaku, the old man will still kill you, get out." On the peak of soul refining, Liu Mei's peerless posture slowly floated up. She looked at the old man with a clear expression on her face, and said respectfully and softly, "Senior, the younger generation has a teacher's life, and besides, it didn't anger you. Why bother?" The old man's expression was flat, and he said slowly, 6 breaths. Liu Mei sighed lightly, pursed her lower lip, and whispered, "Senior, if the junior just goes back like this, the master will punish him. If the master asks the younger generation, he can only tell the truth." The old man's eyes showed a hint of murderous intent, and he grasped the void with his right hand. A phantom of a large flag more than 3 feet high appeared in the old man's hands. This banner was just a phantom, and there was an unimaginable impact inside it. Liu Mei's complexion changed drastically for the first time. She stared at the old man, gritted her silver teeth, and immediately disappeared, leaving the soul-refining sect far away. The old man didn't even look at the place where Liu Mei disappeared, but turned to look at Wang Lin, smiled and said, "Xing Niu Xiaoyu, how about this thin gift?" With Liu Mei's existence, Wang Lin always had a thorn in his back, as if he was being stared at by a poisonous snake. At this moment, this feeling suddenly dissipated with Liu Mei's departure. Wang Lin said with a wry smile, "This is a generous gift." The senior did not hesitate to offend the Suzaku kingdom. Such behavior made him not happy, but there was a lot of panic. The old man smiled and said, "It's not enough to offend the Suzaku kingdom. Now that Suzaku is old, it may not be possible for the entire Suzaku kingdom to work for him." Wang Lin was silent for a long time, looking at the old man and said, "Senior, if you have any instructions, it's okay to say it." The old man smiled and said, "Don't worry, it was just the first gift, I will give you the second gift now. Xing Niu, your Yuanshan is about to recover. Didn't you come to the old man just to use coercion to speed up the recovery of the Yuanshan? The second gift of the old man is to help you fully restore your cultivation base." He didn't take Wang Lin to speak, and immediately a golden light flashed in his eyes, and a spiritual power that was countless times stronger than the spiritual power suddenly emerged from his body and directly pressed on Wang Lin. Wang Lin's body shook, and under the coercive spirit, the gap between the fragments of the primordial god in his body was slowly shrinking, but the speed was still too slow. The old man's gaze thickened, and a spiritual power 10 times greater than just now suddenly descended. Wang Lin's eyes flushed, the blue veins on his face bulged high, and the two seals quickly dissipated. At this moment, Wang Lin clearly felt that the gap between the fragments of the primordial god in his body was quickly closed, and a small part of it was already closely connected and fused with each other. Wang Lin took a deep breath and said slowly, "Not enough. The old man has not used the immortal power of the infant transformation period for more than 200 years. For this second gift, the old man has made a lot of money." The old man did not hesitate to call the immortal power in his body, and in an instant a coercion that was completely different from the danger just now came. This coercion carried the immortal spirit, and in an instant, Wang Lin's primordial spirit was frantically connected at an extremely fast speed. After 5 breaths, the last seal on his face collapsed. At this moment, a long howl came from Wang Lin's mouth, and Sun Tai's seal collapsed, and his cultivation level once again returned to the middle stage of deification, even more advanced than it was back then. Wang Lin hugged his fist at the old man and said seriously, "Thank you." The old man looked at Wang Lin and said with a smile, "Thank me now. It's too early to say. The old man has prepared a third gift for you. Do you dare to ask for it?" Wang Lin took a deep breath and smiled slightly. "Why don't you dare?" He knew from the bottom of his heart that the ancestor of the soul refining sect had made such a large capital, and he must have something to ask him for help, but he couldn't figure out what would need his help based on the other party's infant transformation stage cultivation base. "Well, Xing Niu, the third gift of the old man is to help you reach the peak of the late stage of enlightenment in one fell swoop. As for the artistic conception, you need to feel it yourself. The old man is incompetent to help." As the old man said, his body moved. Without saying a word, Wang Lin followed closely behind. Outside the blood ring, the old man grabbed his right hand through the air, and the huge soul streamer more than 3 feet high appeared again. This time it was still illusory. "This is the treasure of the soul refining sect, 1,000,000,000 soul streamers." It was with this treasure that the old man dared to win a battle even though he was in the late stage of infancy. As for the reason for this, the old man will talk to you in detail in the future. You just need to remember that this treasure is the foundation of my soul refining sect. This treasure will not be destroyed in my soul refining sect, and this treasure will die in my soul refining sect. Now I will use the soul power in the soul streamer to help you elevate your cultivation level to the late stage of deification." The old man's eyes shone, and he looked at Wang Lin with dazzling light, and shouted, "Sit down on your knees." The 3-foot big streamer in the old man's hand shook, and there were bursts of roars and shouts from inside, and humanoid souls flew out of it suddenly. In a blink of an eye, 10 souls scattered around Wang Lin. All these 10 souls exude purple and gold color, and their aura is monstrous. The pupils of Wang Ling's eyes shrank suddenly, and all of these 10 souls turned out to be equivalent to infant transformation and cultivation. Xingniu Xiaoyu, all the infant transformation monks above this time have been refining my soul for countless years. Whenever an infant transformation ancestor is dying, he will give up his body, give up his mind, and willingly become an unconscious soul to sacrifice this time. That if one day, the old man returns to the West, you must also remember to include the old man's soul in it. The old man said slowly in a low voice. At this moment, the 10 infants turned into souls, and their bodies suddenly exuded purple gold light, a thick spiritual power that did not need Wang Lin to absorb the vomit at all, and it was automatically transmitted into his body. The spiritual power in Wang Lin's body grew frantically at an unprecedented rate, and in a blink of an eye it doubled, tripled, and quadrupled than before. Until 8 times, it was still growing. Xingniu, remember the old man's name, escape the sky, you can suck as much as you can, the old man will never be stingy. The word, escape heaven, passed into Wang Lin's ears, and his eyes suddenly condensed, but at this moment he had no time to think deeply, but felt the growth of spiritual power in his body wholeheartedly. The majestic spiritual power emerged frantically from the 10 purple gold souls, and quickly penetrated into Wang Lin's body along the light, whistling and swimming in his meridians. Wang Lin felt the sweat pores all over his body, all opened at this moment, hiding a trace, and the turbid air in the deepest part of his body was quickly forced out. Chu Tian glanced at Wang Lin and said with a smile, Xingniu Xiaoyu, can you suck enough of this third gift? Wang Lin's eyes were calm, and he looked at the sky. Ancestor Senior, I can suck as much as I can, right? Chu Tian smiled haha, and said quite boldly, that's right, Xingniu Xiaoyu, the old man will never be stingy with this third gift today. Wang Lin nodded and closed his eyes. Wang Lin closed his eyes and silently called to the deity from the bottom of his heart, let's suck together. In the underground valley outside the place where Chu first moved, Wang Lin's deity suddenly opened his eyes. I in the center of the deity's eyebrows, 2 purple star dots are constantly rotating. In fact, the deity and the clone have long been separated from the primary and secondary. It can be said that the clone is Wang Lin, and the deity is also Wang Lin. It is divided into 2. When the 2 are merged together, they are the real Wang Lin. Through a strange connection, the spiritual power was transferred to Wang Lin's clone and was frantically absorbed by the deity. The 10 purple gold souls around Wang Lin's clone suddenly felt a huge suction force coming from Wang Lin's body, and then more spiritual power came in an instant. This transformation suddenly made Dun Tian's eyes widen, and the muscles on his face twitched a few times, showing a look of heartache. In just 10 breaths, almost half of the spiritual power of the 10 purple gold souls was absorbed. Chu Tian's face was extremely ugly, and he had the intention to stop it, but thinking of his own words just now, he couldn't help sighing secretly. Based on his cultivation base, it is natural to see at a glance that the Xingniu in front of him absolutely has a clone, and now this behavior is to absorb spiritual power with the clone. The deity of the state of Chu had a rich spiritual power all over his body, and a trace of golden light dissipated from his body, forming silk threads that wrapped his whole body. A huge crystal jade chain appeared, and the deity sat cross-legged in the jade chain, and the heart point above the eyebrow slowly increased by 1, gradually solidifying in the flicker. Wang Lin is not an insatiable person. At this moment, he opened his eyes and stopped absorbing. Chu Tian breathed a sigh of relief, and with a wave of the 3-foot banner in his right hand, 10 purple and gold souls immediately flew into the banner and disappeared. Chu Tian looked at Wang Lin with a wry smile, shook his head and said, Xingniu Xiaoyu, you are really welcome. Wang Lin stood up, feeling the huge spiritual power in his body, turned his head and looked in the direction of Shuyu country, with a cold light in his eyes. Wang Lin's personality is more extreme. If you don't provoke me, I won't take the initiative to provoke you, but once you do, then I will retaliate 10 times and 100 times. He is still the one who will repay you. Wang Lin put away the cold light in his eyes, looked at the sky, and said respectfully with his fists, thank you for the 3-point gift from the senior. If there is anything wrong, it's okay to say it. The junior will do his best to do it. Dun Tian smiled slightly, and the previous unhappiness in his heart disappeared. He did these things for the other party's words. Xingniu Xiaoyu, the old man gave you 3 gifts, and he has done a great deal. Originally, if you didn't come to my soul-refining sect, I planned to go out to find you. Wang Lin looked at Yuntian and said with a smile, the younger generation has heard before, it seems to be a rumor that he killed a monk of the soul-refining sect, so the senior is going to ask him. Duan Tian shook his head and smiled, this is a move to hide people's eyes and ears. If the old man goes to you for no reason, it will inevitably attract attention, so let out the wind and say that you killed a monk of my soul-refining sect. In this way, the old man will go to you again, for good reason, and it will not be too much attention. Duan Tian looked at Wang Lin. He took a deep breath and said slowly, Xingniu Xiaoyu, do you know that the Suzaku kingdom has occupied Suzaku Star for countless years? Why has there been less than 10 fifth-level cultivation kingdoms so far? He didn't let Wang Lin answer, his eyes showed a trace of helplessness, and he said, when the Suzaku kingdom came to Suzaku Star, there were 6 sects in the country, and then a large number of disciples from the 6 sects dispersed, forming many cultivators, large and small, on Suzaku Star. Kingdom. At the same time, the reward for these 6 sects is to allow the core disciples of the 6 sects to form their own country, with a title of 5 levels. This is the earliest batch of 5-level cultivation kingdoms, there are only 6, and my soul-refining sect is one of them. Dun Tian looked up at the sky and said in a flat tone, the situation has changed, and the years have passed by. For countless years, whenever there is a 5th-level cultivation country that is about to reach the verge of a breakthrough, it will be beaten back to its original form overnight. The Suzaku kingdom will not allow the birth of a second 6th-level cultivation kingdom on the Suzaku Star. In the past countless years, my soul-refining sect has had 3 opportunities to reach level 6, but each time it was destroyed. Now it has long lost its borders and can only exist as a different sect. Becoming a 6th-level cultivation country is the dream of the first-generation ancestor of my soul-refining sect, and it is the dream of everyone in the soul-refining sect throughout the ages. Countless years ago, as far back as the Suzaku Star, no monk existed. The Suzaku kingdom was only a 5th-level cultivation kingdom on the 4 holy stars, with the concerted efforts of the 6 major sects in his country. After all the hardships, he successfully became a 6th-level cultivator country in one fell swoop, freed from the shackles of the 4 holy stars, and was given this Suzaku Star by the Cultivator Alliance. Back then, there were 3 winning monks in my soul-refining sect, and the other 5 sects had several winning monks. How powerful was the Suzaku kingdom back then? It's a pity that after coming to Suzaku Star, I found that this place is not a good land. There is actually a strange race here. They are good at using the power of runes and are extremely powerful. It was a fight that lasted for countless years. It was in this battle that the 11 soul streamers of my soul-refining sect were able to become great. Although it was victorious in the end, the Suzaku Star was in tatters, and the strength of the Suzaku kingdom fell countless times. And many people were lost when the level was won. It is precisely because of this that after the 6 sects formed 6 5-level cultivation kingdoms, the first Suzaku of the Suzaku kingdom established Suzaku Mountain as the central control point of the entire Suzaku Star. Since then, it has been a nightmare for all 5th-level cultivators. Suzaku's mission has been to prevent any 5th-level cultivators from being promoted to 6th-level cultivators. Because the Suzaku kingdom at this time has still not recovered from the Great War, there are only 4 famous monks in the entire Suzaku kingdom. How weak is it? He was afraid that the 5th-level cultivation country would be anti-customer oriented, and he was afraid that Suzaku would not protect his heart. After a moment of silence, Wang Lin said, Senior, what do you say has to do with the younger generation? The younger generation is just a monk in the incarnation period. Duan Tian's eyes narrowed, he looked at Wang Lin, and said word by word, it matters. Wang Lin looked up at the sky. Chu Tian said slowly, you are one of the 4 Suzaku heirs selected by the Skylark. Chu Tian turned his right hand over, and there was an extra thing in his hand immediately. This is a wood carving. The person carved by Yushu Lin Feng is handsome, with bright eyes. Wang Lin was startled and his expression became weird. This wood carving was exactly what he had carved for the sloppy old man who gave him the straw hat. The old man was cultivated as a Tongshan, and Wang Lin doubted in his heart back then. At this moment, he has the answer. He is the son of Skylark, Suzaku's younger brother. Duan Tian looked at the wood carving and sighed. You carved this wood carving, right? It looks like a lark. Wang Lin's expression became even more weird. Is it because of him that you gave me 3 big gifts? Chu Tian raised his head and sighed softly, part of it. Chu Tian stared at Wang Lin. Even if the lark personally recites it to me, if I don't like it, I can just help you get rid of Liu Mei. The next 2 gifts will not be given to each other. Whether it's Xing Niu or Wang Lin, Xiao Yu, after my soul refining sect came to Suzaku, so far, there have been a total of 36 infant monks, and all of their souls are in the soul streamer. I am the 37th, and my elder brother is the 36th. Wang Lin's expression moved, and he glanced up at the 2 blood rings not far away. Chu Tian sighed, little friend, don't look at it. My elder brother died 2 years ago with Shoyuan severed. Even Suzaku didn't know about this. Why little friend, let me ask you, would you like to truly worship in my soul refining sect, become the next successor of my soul refining sect, and express your thoughts with your perception and artistic conception, so that one day, my soul refining sect can become a 6th level cultivation country? Chu Tian stared at Wang Lin and said word by word. Wang Lin did not answer immediately, but asked rhetorically, why me? Dun Tian showed a trace of admiration and said to Wang Lin, the reason for the lark is part of it, but it comes more from my brother. Xing Niu Xiao Yu, my brother's artistic conception does not have any attack, but his artistic conception is the only existence of the entire Suzaku star, and even on other cultivation stars, it is absolutely extremely rare. His artistic conception is precognition. His Shoyuan was originally still 100 years old, but 2 years ago, the elder brother gave up Shoyuan and tried his best to stimulate the magical powers of artistic conception. He wanted to find a future path for my soul refining sect, but unfortunately it failed in the end. Duan Tian looked at Wang Lin with bright eyes, a trace of madness appeared in his eyes, and said, although my brother failed, at the moment of his death, it was the moment you came outside the mountain gate of my soul refining sect. This may be a coincidence, or it may just be the old man's determination, but the old man's longevity is about to be cut off, and I can't wait any longer. I can only bet once. I bet that my brother's artistic conception has not failed and I will bring you. There was a trace of bitterness in Dun Tian's eyes. He actually knew all this in his heart, and it was very likely that he had deceived himself. There is no successor to the soul refining sect. Although I have the soul streamer in my hand, I am not afraid of Suzaku's coming and dare to fight him, but once I die, then the soul refining sect will be completely over. The soul streamer will definitely be taken away by Suzaku. Without the soul streamer, the soul refining sect will be completely destroyed. Wang Lin pondered for a while, then raised his head and said, if I agree, your soul streamer will be given to me. Dun Tian nodded and said, the day when my longevity is cut off is when this soul streamer is given to you. Wang Lin shook his head and smiled bitterly. With the cultivation base of the younger generation, this matter is too difficult. Chu Tian sighed and said, Xing Niu, I only have 10 years of longevity left. I can keep you safe in 10 years, and you will be on your own in 10 years. Whether it is successful or not, you remember my words to escape the sky, and remember that my soul refining sect does not have any dangerous malice towards you, but just give you the grace of soul streamer. After a long silence, Wang Lin nodded and said, I will do my best. Chu Tian's eyes were bright. He looked at Wang Lin, smiled haha, patted the storage bag with his right hand, and suddenly a golden jade jian flew out and threw it at Wang Lin. My soul refining sect does not have any traditional rituals and customs. This jade jian records the method of locking the gods. This method is the technique of controlling 1 billion soul streamers. This technique is the core of my soul refining sect. From today on, you are the only core disciple of my soul refining sect. Wang Lin grabbed Yujian, swept away his consciousness, and put it in a storage bag. Chu Tian said solemnly, the old man will retreat once to prepare for his soul to enter the soul streamer 10 years later. You'd better not go out of the soul refining sect thousands of miles away, otherwise if you are in distress, the old man is worried that it will be too late to rush. Wang Lin smiled slightly and said, it's okay, if you don't even have the power to protect yourself, you won't live to this day. The senior retreat means that the younger generation still has some private matters to deal with. After all the processing is completed, they will definitely rush back to the soul refining sect when the predecessors are out of the retreat. Chutian glanced at Wang Lin, nodded, and said, when you remember, the old man won't say more, you can go. As he said, he moved his body, turned into a long rainbow, and disappeared into the blood ring. Wang Lin respectfully clenched his fists, turned around and disappeared in place, and walked out of the soul refining sect. A month later, outside the valley in the kingdom of Chu, Zhou Ru was playing with Xiaobai, Lei Frog was lying on the ground, and Tai Yan was meditating on his knees. His cultivation base has been infinitely close to becoming a god, and in recent days he has had a lot of insights, and he is on the verge of condensing his own artistic conception. Suddenly, Lei Frog opened his eyes and looked out of the valley with huge eyes. He saw a young man in white walking slowly into the valley with a smile on his face. Zhou Ru rubbed his eyes hard, immediately cheered, jumped off Xiaobai, ran to Wang Lin, and shouted with joy, "Uncle, uncle." Wang Lin smiled, hugged Xiao Zhou, and looked at Tai Yan. Tai Yan, you are about to transform into a god. Go to the capital of Chu to find a place to live and experience life. You will be able to transform into a god within 3 years. Tai Yan's face was joyless and sad, but his hands trembled a little, and he whispered, really, good. As he said, he took a deep look at Zhou Ru, then looked around again, gritted his teeth, moved his body, and disappeared in place. Zhou Ru hugged Wang Ling and asked quickly in happiness, Uncle, where is the big tiger? What about the big tiger you promised me when you left? Wang Lin touched his nose, he had indeed forgotten about it. Zhou Ru pursed her small mouth and said, Uncle, when you left, you said you wouldn't forget it. Wang Lin smiled bitterly, touched Zhou Ru's head, and said, well, Uncle will come back this time to take you to a place. Won't it be enough to catch a big tiger for you then? Zhou Rui, as soon as Xingxing heard that he had left here, he immediately said happily, where are you going? Uncle, do you want to take me out to play? Wang Lin's eyes flashed murderously, Uncle, go find an old man. Wang Lin pinched a little pagoda with his right hand, and suddenly the pagoda quickly became smaller and fell into his hand. Wang Lin took a deep breath, stepped on the ground with his right foot, and a huge force came from deep underground. At the same time, the underground deity suddenly opened his eyes and broke out of the cocoon with a move. In the center of his eyebrows, 3 purple star dots continued to rotate, exuding demon light. The deity appeared in front of Wang Lin, the two looked at each other, their bodies moved at the same time, and instantly merged with each other to form one person. This is the real Wang Lin, the deity's refining body is outside, and the clone is cultivating inside, and a breath of coercion in the wild slowly dissipates in his body. At this moment, the color of the world changed, the sky was thundering and flashing, and huge raindrops fell from the sky. Wang Lin in the rain looked like a demon god, looking in the direction of Shuiyu country. Li Yuanfeng of Shuiyu kingdom, the ancestor of the troll clan, and Sun Tai, who took the opportunity to seal me, my Wang Lin's cultivation base, restored what you did that day, and Wang asked you to settle accounts one by one. The first thing I want to retaliate against is Li Yuanfeng. Let's see if it is the powerful infant transformation period that you forcibly promoted, or the powerful cultivation of my own clone into one.